Last time on Say Less I Love You.
Baby girl, that one's trouble.
Sometimes people need to learn things for themselves.
Men like Jacob Stone are all the same. They promise you the world until something better comes along.
I'm done waiting, Jacob. Break up with Trixa tonight.
Why didn't you tell me about the cancer?
It's Jacob. It's always been Jacob.
Wake up, Nyla. He's playing you.
Come back to me. We're good together.
There's no future for me and Jacob.
Nyla Thomas thought she was getting a simple fake marriage.
Marry me and I'll pay for your grandfather's treatment.
It's just business, right?
Right.
But little did she know the viper's nest she was coming into.
You may try to better yourself, Nyla, but you will never catch up to your betters.
Make the rules, Nyla. You follow them.
They beat her down, took her dignity. What they never expected was
that she would fight back.
Find out what happens when you push a woman too far.
Chapter 1, 151. Jacob, my phone buzzes at 2 a.m. Alexander's name flashing on the screen. Damn it. These late-night calls never bring good news. What is it? I ask, already getting dressed. One of my guys caught a bullet. Can't take him to a regular hospital. Too many questions. Alexander's voice is tight with tension. Need your help, Stone. I rub my eyes, mind racing through options. How bad? Bad enough. Bleeding like a stuck pig. But he's conscious. Give me 20 minutes. I hang up and scroll through my contacts. Only one person I trust with this, Lori. She's worked the ER long enough to handle anything. I find her number and dial. She answers on the fourth ring, groggy. This better be good, Mr. Stone. Lori, I need a favor. Off the books. Someone's hurt. A hospital's that way, she says dryly. Can't. It's complicated. I'll make it worth your time. A long pause. How worth my time? Name your price, plus I'll owe you one. She sighs. Where? I'll pick you up. 10 minutes. Make it 15. I need coffee for this. When I pull up outside her apartment, Lori's waiting with a medical bag and 2 travel mugs. She slides into the passenger seat, handing me one of the coffees. This better not be what I think it is, she says. Probably worse. I take a sip. Thanks for doing this. Don't thank me yet. Where's the patient? Warehouse in Brooklyn and Lori. I glance at her. This never happened. She rolls her eyes. No duh, Sherlock. Now drive. I lead Lori into the warehouse where Alexander paces near his injured associate. The moment he spots her, Alexander stops dead in his tracks. His usual smooth demeanor slips for a second as he takes her in. Alexander, meet Lori. She's here to help. I make the introduction, watching with interest as they lock eyes. A pleasure, Alexander says, his voice softer than I've ever heard it. Thank you for coming at such an ungodly hour. Lori sets down her medical bag, all business despite the electricity crackling between them. Where's my patient? Alexander guides her to where his man lies bleeding. Right here. Tony caught some heat during a business disagreement. Business disagreement? Lori arches an eyebrow as she pulls on latex gloves. Is that what we're calling bullet wounds now? A smile tugs at Alexander's lips. I like her, Stone. She's got fire. Less flirting, more helping, Lori orders. But I catch the hint of a blush on her cheeks. Hand me that gauze. Alexander jumps to assist, passing her supplies as she works. His eyes never leave her hands as she expertly treats the wound. Your technique is incredible, he murmurs, watching her suture. Where did you learn to work like this? ER at Stone Hospital. You see everything there? Lori ties off the last stitch. including plenty of business disagreements. You're a miracle worker, Alexander says, genuine admiration in his voice. I don't know how to thank you. You could start by keeping your associates out of trouble, Lori suggests, stripping off her gloves. Alexander grins. No promises. Once Alexander and his crew clear out, Lori corners me in the warehouse office. Her arms are crossed, and her expression could freeze hell over. What the hell are you doing, Jacob? I lean against the desk, trying to appear casual. Being a good Samaritan? Cut the crap! I'm talking about Nyla. She steps closer, her voice dropping. 1 minute you're all over her, the next you're back with Trixa. You're giving her whiplash. It's complicated, I say, running a hand through my hair. Complicated? Lori scoffs. Try explaining that to Nyla when she's crying on my shoulder at 3 a.m.? You think I enjoy watching my best friend's heart get trampled? Look, there are things you don't understand. Oh, I understand plenty. She cuts me off. I understand you're mixed up in some shady crap with dangerous people. I understand you've got a fiancé who probably has no idea what you're up to. And I understand you're still in love with Nyla, but too much of a coward to make a choice. Her words hit like a punch to the gut. How did you... Hospital gossip travels fast, she says. But that's not the point. The point is, you need to either commit to Nyla or let her go. This in-between stuff, it stops now. Or what? Lori's eyes narrow. Or I make your life very difficult. And trust me, Stone, I know enough about what goes on in that hospital to do some serious damage. I study her face, seeing the fierce protectiveness there. You really care about her, don't you? More than you apparently do. She heads for the door, then pauses. Fix this, Jacob, before someone gets hurt worse than your friend with the bullet wound. I lean back against the desk, studying Lori's fierce expression. You know what? You're right. Nyla's lucky to have someone like you in her corner. Damn straight, Lori says, but her tone softens slightly. Better than that Anastasia woman, anyway. I shake my head, remembering how coldly she'd treated everyone at the hospital. Lori's eyes roll so hard I'm surprised they don't get stuck. Oh God, don't get me started on that one. She's bad news, Jacob. Like, seriously bad news. What do you mean? I just don't trust her. Lori adjusts her medical bag on her shoulder, and she's got Nyla wrapped around her finger. I step forward, suddenly serious. Lori, I need you to promise me something. If this is about keeping quiet about tonight... No, I cut her off. Promise me you'll always watch out for Nyla even when I can't. She studies me for a long moment, then nods. I always do. It's kind of my job description as best friend. Thank you, I say, meaning it. Lori heads for the door, then turns back with a smirk. Oh, and Jacob? My next check better be massive. Like, I can finally afford that beach house in the Hamptons massive. Done, I laugh. Consider it hazard pay for dealing with my mess. Your mess is right, she mutters, but there's a hint of a smile on her face as she leaves.
Chapter 1, 152. Nyla. I'm stretching on the reformer at my private Pilates session with Anastasia when my phone buzzes. Normally, I'd ignore it. These sessions cost an arm and a leg, but something compels me to check. My stomach drops as I see the New York Times notification. There, splashed across my screen in elegant typography, is the announcement of Jacob and Trixa's wedding. Not just any announcement. They've moved the date up, way up. What the actual hell? I mutter, sitting up abruptly on the reformer. Anastasia pauses mid-stretch. What's wrong, darling? They moved up the wedding, I say, my voice tight. Jacob and that snake Trixa. It's in 3 weeks. Oh, honey, Anastasia says, sliding off her reformer to peek at my phone. Well, we know what that means. She's pregnant, I spit out, anger burning in my chest. All those times he said he was going to leave her, he was probably knocking her up instead. Men are pigs, Anastasia agrees, scrolling through the announcement, but especially Jacob Stone. I jump off the reformer, unable to stay still. That lying bastard. He looked me in the eye and promised me. My voice cracks. God, I'm such an idiot. No, sweetie, he's the idiot, Anastasia says, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. And now you know exactly who he is. A man who'd get his fiancée pregnant while promising another woman he'd leave her. I shake my head, fury and hurt warring inside me. All that crap about needing time? He just needed time to make sure the pregnancy test came back positive. Forget Pilates, Anastasia declares. We need drinks. Now. I nod, grabbing my designer gym bag. The expensive leather suddenly feels like it's mocking me. Another remnant of trying to fit into Jacob's world. Make it a double. The bass thrums through my body as I down another shot of tequila. The music and alcohol numbing the ache in my chest. Anastasia's already ordered another round of bottles for our table, where we're surrounded by faces I've only seen in magazines before tonight. Darling, you simply must meet Kara, Anastasia shouts over the music, pulling forward a willowy blonde I vaguely recognize from fashion billboards. She adores your Bottega clutch. I smile, though it feels plastic on my face. Thanks. I just got it yesterday. The green one? To die for. Kara gushes, sliding closer. We should totally do a shopping day together. Kevin appears with more champagne, his hand settling possessively on my waist. Ladies, let's make this night legendary. Another round, I call out, waving my black card at the waitress. The table erupts in cheers. A well-known rapper joins our group, and suddenly my Instagram feed is filling with stories of me partying with A-listers. Each notification feels like a small victory over Jacob. See? I belong in this world too. Somewhere between the tequila shots and my 5th glass of champagne, I dancing on the VIP table, my Louboutins kicked off somewhere beneath. Kara and another model, was her name Jasmine, flank me as we move to the beat. The champagne has turned everything soft and sparkly around the edges. Body shots, Anastasia calls out, and suddenly I'm lying across the table while a gorgeous male model, whose name I can't remember, licks salt off my stomach. Your turn, Kara giggles, pulling me up. She stretches out on the table, and I do a shot off her perfectly toned abs. The tequila burns going down, but I barely feel it anymore. TikTok time, someone suggests. And suddenly, we're all attempting ridiculous dance challenges. I'm laughing so hard I can barely breathe as we mess up the moves again and again. Kevin appears with more bottles, sparklers shooting from their tops. Who wants to spray champagne? Me! I grab a bottle, shaking it vigorously before aiming it at the crowd. The expensive bubbly rains down, soaking everyone's designer clothes. No one cares. We're all too far gone. You're wild, Kara shouts approvingly as I climb onto Kevin's shoulders, still wielding the champagne bottle like a weapon. Screw Jacob Stone, I yell at the top of my lungs, and the whole VIP section erupts in cheers. Someone starts a chant of my name, and I feel invincible. The old Nyla would never do this, but the old Nyla was a fool who believed in love. This Nyla, she's having the time of her life. Another round, I command, waving my black card again. And someone find my shoes. We're going swimming in the fountain outside. As the lights come up signaling closing time, we stumble out into the cool night air. Kara links her arm through mine, both of us swaying slightly. My car's this way, she slurs, pointing vaguely left. The sudden pop of camera flashes startles me. Paparazzi materialize from the shadows, their rapid-fire clicks feeling like tiny bullets. Kara, over here! Kara, Kara, who's your friend? This way, ladies. I try to shield my face, but I'm too drunk to coordinate my movements. Kara just laughs and waves, pulling me closer. Welcome to the lifestyle, honey. She giggles as more flashes go off. I groan as consciousness creeps in, my head pounding like a jackhammer. My new silk sheets feel rough against my hypersensitive skin. Reaching blindly for my phone, I squint at the screen and immediately wish I hadn't. Oh God, I mutter, sitting up too quickly. The room spins as I stare at the viral photo plastered across page 6. There I am, draped over Kara's shoulder, my designer dress hiked up way too high, champagne bottle dangling precariously from my fingers. The headline screams, "Model and friend go wild." My stomach lurches, and I barely make it to the bathroom in time. As I heave into the toilet, memories from last night flood back. The shots, the table dancing, screaming, "Screw Jacob Stone" at the top of my lungs. What happened to me? Good morning, sunshine. Anastasia's voice rings out, far too cheerful. She appears in the doorway with green juice and Advil. Kill me now, I groan, accepting both. Oh, please, this is nothing. Wait until you see what's trending on Twitter. I grab my phone again, scrolling through an endless stream of notifications. Everyone's sharing the photos, speculating about who I am, how I know Kara. Some recognize me as the mysterious New Stone Hospital Group board member. I used to save lives, I whisper, more to myself than Anastasia. I used to wake up at dawn to run Central Park. Now, look at me. Darling, you're evolving, Anastasia says, perching on the edge of my bathtub. The old Nyla was boring. This Nyla, she's fabulous. My phone buzzes with a text from Lori. Girl, call me ASAP. Have you seen the news? I ignore it, opening Instagram instead. The first post that pops up is Jacob and Trixa's wedding announcement photo. They look disgustingly happy, his hand resting protectively over her stomach. The green juice threatens to make a reappearance. I still love him, I admit, my voice cracking. How pathetic is that? Chapter 153. Nyla. I'm still curled up on my bathroom floor when I hear the knock. I hear the key in the lock, and my heart sinks when I hear my parents' voices. Nyla, where are you? Mom asks, her tone sharp with worry. I drag myself up, catching my reflection in the mirror. God, I look awful. Mascara smeared, hair a mess, still wearing last night's clothes. Nyla! Dad's voice booms through the apartment. Get out here right now. Taking a deep breath, I shuffle into the living room. Mom gasps when she sees me while Dad just shakes his head. Have you seen this? Mom thrusts her phone in my face, showing that damn photo. Is this what you're doing with your life now? Partying with models and making a spectacle of yourself? I was just having fun, I mumble, sinking onto the couch. Fun? Dad's voice rises. You're on every gossip site in New York. What happened to our daughter who wanted to help people, who worked double shifts to make ends meet? That daughter was broke and miserable, I snap, immediately regretting my tone. I mean, I'm just enjoying myself for once. Mom sits beside me, her eyes filled with tears. Baby, we're worried about you. All you do is shop and party. Where's your plan? What are you doing with your life? I have money now. I protest weakly. I don't need a plan. Money isn't everything, Dad says quietly. You used to know that. The disappointment in his voice cuts deeper than any hangover. I look around my apartment, at all the shopping bags scattered everywhere, the empty champagne bottles, and for the first time, I feel ashamed. We raised you better than this, Mom says, her voice cracking. All those nights helping you study for nursing exams, teaching you the value of hard work. Oh my God, stop. I throw my hands up. I'm so sick of hearing about how you raised me. You have no idea what I've been through these past few months. Dad steps forward, his face stern. Then tell us, Nyla. Help us understand why our daughter is throwing away everything she worked for. I'm not throwing anything away. I snap, pacing the room. I'm finally living. Do you know how exhausting it is being the good girl all the time? Always doing the right thing, always taking care of everyone else? And this is better? Mom gestures at the mess around us. Drinking yourself stupid with people who don't care about you? They're my friends, I insist, though the words feel hollow even to me. Come home with us, Dad says softly. Just for a few days. Get your head straight. I laugh bitterly. I'm not a child anymore. I don't need you to fix me. Nyla, please. Mom reaches for me, but I step back. No, I'm a grown woman with my own money and my own life. Stop trying to control me. Control you? Dad's voice rises. We're trying to save you from yourself. Get out, I say, my voice shaking. Both of you, just get out. They stare at me for a long moment, hurt and disappointment etched on their faces. Finally, Dad takes Mom's arm and leads her to the door. When you're ready to be our daughter again, he says quietly, you know where to find us. I storm around my apartment, rage building with each step. My reflection catches in the windows. I look like hell, but I don't care anymore. Let them judge. Let them all judge. Nothing I do is good enough for them, I mutter, kicking aside an empty Veuve Clicquot bottle. I try to buy them a house. Oh no, can't take money from the Stones. I try to have fun for once in my life. Oh no, what happened to our perfect daughter? My phone buzzes. Another text from Mom. We're just worried about you, baby. Please call us. Worried? I laugh bitterly, deleting the message. Where was all this worry when I was working myself to death trying to pay Grandpa's bills? I grab my purse, dumping its contents onto the coffee table. Credit cards, cash, designer wallet, all the trappings of my new life scatter across the surface. I finally have everything I want. I say to the empty room, no more scraping by, no more double shifts, no more counting pennies. My hands shake as I pour myself a drink. The expensive crystal tumbler feels right in my hand. This is who I am now. I down my drink, my resolve solidified. If I can't do anything right, I might as well do what I want. I say, grabbing my keys. Let them judge. I'm done caring. I rush out of my apartment, leaving my parents' disappointment behind. The city streets blur past as I make my way to Kevin's place, my mind racing with possibilities. When I reach his building, I barely pause to greet the doorman before hurrying to the elevator. Kevin opens his door, surprise flickering across his face. Nyla? What's wrong? I push past him into his apartment, my hands shaking with nervous energy. Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. I've been thinking. Okay. He closes the door, watching me pace his living room. You were right about everything, about us needing a fresh start, about getting a place together. The words tumble out of me. Let's do it. Let's look at that penthouse you mentioned. Kevin's eyebrows shoot up. Wait, seriously? What brought this on? Does it matter? I stop pacing and face him. I'm ready. I want to build something real with you. A slow smile spreads across his face. The realtor can show us the place in an hour. You sure about this? Absolutely. I nod emphatically, perhaps a bit too much. It's time for a change. A big one. Kevin pulls out his phone, already dialing. This is perfect timing. The place just hit the market, and it's exactly what we need. I watch him make the appointment, my heart racing. This is what I need. Something new, something different, something far away from my parents' judgment and Jacob's indecision. They can see us at 2, Kevin says, ending the call. You're going to love it, Nyla. The views alone are worth the price tag. Price doesn't matter anymore, I say and mean it. I'm done playing small.
Chapter 154. Jacob. I sit in the private tasting room at Magnolia Bakery, watching Trixa and my mother debate the merits of vanilla bean versus Madagascar vanilla. The samples before us blur together, a parade of whites and creams that all taste the same to my overwhelmed palate. Jacob, darling, are you even listening? Trixa's voice cuts through my haze. We still need to finalize the flowers, confirm the string quartet, and meet with the calligrapher about the place cards. Right, of course, I mutter, forcing myself to focus. Whatever you think is best. The burgundy velvet ribbons would complement the winter theme perfectly, my mother chimes in, sliding her phone across the table. And speaking of complimentary, look what made page 6 this morning. I glance down at the screen, my stomach dropping. There's Nyla, barely standing, champagne bottle in hand, surrounded by a crowd of enablers at some club. Her eyes are glazed, makeup smeared. She looks nothing like the woman I fell for. Well, my mother says with a satisfied smirk, I suppose we were right about her all along. No class, just as I suspected. Trixa peers at the photo, her face pinched with concern. Poor thing. She seems lost. She's exactly where she belongs, my mother declares, snatching back her phone. I stare at the photo of Nyla on my mother's phone, a hollow feeling growing in my chest. The woman in the image, disheveled, drunk, clutching a champagne bottle like a life preserver, bears little resemblance to the strong, passionate nurse I fell for. That Anastasia woman seems to be a terrible influence, Trixa says, dabbing her lips with a napkin, always dragging Nyla to these questionable establishments. My mother's laugh is sharp and cold. Please, people think that money alone buys class, as if a fat bank account automatically grants you entry into proper society. Mother, I warn, but she waves me off. No, Jacob, it needs to be said. That girl will never have what we have. Refinement isn't something you can purchase at Bergdorf's. It's bred into your bones, cultivated over generations. I push away the cake samples, my appetite gone. And what exactly do we have, Mother? The ability to judge others from our ivory tower? Don't be dramatic, darling, she says, examining another cake slice. I'm simply stating facts. Look at her. Stumbling around with that bottle, making a spectacle of herself. Is that the behavior of someone who belongs in our world? She's going through a difficult time, Trixa interjects softly. Maybe we should... Should what? My mother cuts her off. Invite her to tea. Teach her which fork to use. Some people simply aren't meant for this life, no matter how much money they stumble into. Mother, stop! I say with a little more force than I intended. Hilda shoots me a searing look as she changes the subject. Now about these cake flavors. I think the Earl Grey with lavender buttercream makes a statement. I tune out their voices again, the image of Nyla burning in my mind. What happened to the strong, determined woman who stood up to my family? Who fought for her grandfather's care? The stranger in the tabloids, this isn't her. Jacob? Trixa touches my arm gently. The baker needs your opinion on the top tier. I force a smile, pushing thoughts of Nyla aside. Whatever makes you happy, sweetheart. This is your day. I keep smiling for Trixa, but inside I am a storm of emotions. I have to make a call. I'll be right back, I say halfway out the door as I hurry out of Magnolia Bakery, leaving my mother and Trixa to their endless wedding discussions. The moment I'm outside, I pull out my phone and dial Laurie's number. What do you want, Jacob? Lori's voice is cold, professional. I need to see her, Lori. Please. I lean against the building's brick wall, loosening my tie. She's blocked me everywhere. Good. She finally grew a spine. Have you seen the tabloids, the way she's spiraling? I run a hand through my hair. This isn't her, you know it isn't. A long pause follows. I can practically hear Lori weighing her options. You're engaged, Jacob, to someone who needs you right now. I know. I close my eyes, the weight of everything pressing down on me. But I can't watch Nyla destroy herself. We need closure, or something. Anything. And what makes you think you deserve that? I don't, I admit. But she does. Look, I'm not trying to win her back. I just need 5 minutes to explain. Fine, Lori sighs through the phone. But I swear to God, Jacob, if you make things worse... I won't, I promise quickly. Just help me reach her. I'll text you an address. Don't make me regret this. The line goes dead. I slump against the wall, relief flooding through me. My phone buzzes with Lori's text, an address in Brooklyn Heights. I pull up the page 6 photo again, studying Nyla's face. The hollow look in her eyes, the forced smile that doesn't reach them. It's like looking at a funhouse mirror version of the woman I know. The Nyla I remember would never let herself be photographed like this, drunkenly stumbling out of the club with a bottle of crystal dangling from her manicured fingers. My phone buzzes again. Trixa this time. Where did you run off to? We still need to decide on the cake. I type back a quick excuse about a hospital emergency, promising to make it up to her later. The guilt sits heavy in my stomach. Here I am, lying to my cancer-stricken fiancé so I can chase down my ex. But seeing Nyla spiral like this, I can't just stand by and watch. Another buzz. My mother. The Earl Grey lavender it is, then. I've already told the baker. And Jacob? Stay away from that train wreck in the tabloids. You have responsibilities now. I shove my phone in my pocket, straightening my tie. My mother's right about one thing. I do have responsibilities, but making sure Nyla's okay has to be one of them. I owe her that much, at least. You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyla Walker Romances in the Big AF audio bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla. Chapter 1, 155. Nyla. I step into the penthouse, my heels clicking on pristine white oak floors that probably cost more than my old apartment's yearly rent. The realtor, a woman with perfectly coiffed blonde hair, drones on about square footage and amenities, but I'm lost in the sheer magnitude of the space. "Can you believe this view?" Kevin asks, his hand finding the small of my back as we approach the floor-to-ceiling windows. Central Park spreads out below us like a green carpet. It's surreal, I breathe, pressing my palm against the cool glass. My reflection stares back at me, dressed in designer clothes that still feel like a costume. The master suite features dual vanities and a steam shower. The realtor chirps, leading us through double doors. And this closet? I step into what could be a small boutique. You could fit my entire childhood bedroom in here. I mutter. Kevin chuckles. That's the point, baby. No more cramped nurse's apartment. This is your world now. The kitchen gleams with white marble and stainless steel. I run my fingers along the counter, remembering nights spent eating ramen over my tiny sink. The appliances are all Gaga now. The realtor explains. The wine fridge holds 200 bottles. Perfect for entertaining, Kevin says, wrapping his arms around my waist. We could host amazing parties here. I nod, trying to picture myself living in this glass palace. The remote-controlled shades whir quietly, adjusting to the afternoon sun. Everything is pristine, perfect, controlled. There's even a private jazz club in the building, the realtor adds. Many residents say it's better than the Blue Note. What do you think? Kevin asks, his breath warm against my ear. Ready to live like royalty? I stare out at the city sprawling beneath us, wondering if this is what I really want. My stomach churns as I look at the price tag again. Kevin, this is a lot of money. He guides me to the plush window seat, his hand steady on my lower back. Hey, you don't have to decide right now. This is your purchase, your decision. 8 figures, I whisper, the numbers dancing before my eyes. That's more than I ever thought I'd spend on anything. But you can afford it, he reminds me gently. That Neuromax deal set you up for life, and real estate in Manhattan, it's practically printing money. I press my forehead against the cool glass, watching yellow cabs crawl along Fifth Avenue below. I know, but think about it, Kevin continues, his voice taking on that lawyer-like persuasive tone. The Stones live less than a mile away. Imagine Hilda's face when she realizes you're not just some nurse anymore. You're her neighbor. A small smile tugs at my lips despite my anxiety. That would be pretty satisfying. Plus, he adds, you deserve this, Nyla. After everything they put you through, the humiliation, the mind games, you earned every square foot of this place. The realtor discreetly steps out onto the terrace, giving us privacy. I run my hand along the marble windowsill, feeling its smooth, expensive surface. No pressure, Kevin says, squeezing my shoulder. But don't let fear hold you back. You're not that struggling nurse anymore. You're Nyla Thomas, businesswoman and pharmaceutical heiress. I turn to face him, searching his eyes. You really think I can do this? I know you can. He grins. And imagine the housewarming party we could throw. Give those Upper East Side snobs something to talk about. I remember my parents' faces earlier, their disappointment etched deep as they lectured me about responsibility. The memory stings, but it also ignites something defiant inside me. I'll take it, I say, my voice stronger than I expect. The penthouse, I want it. Kevin's eyes light up. You're sure? Absolutely. I turn to the realtor. When can we close? She beams, already pulling out paperwork. The property's vacant and the seller's motivated. We could expedite everything. Have you moved in by next week? Perfect. I reach for the documents, my hand steady. My parents think I'm being irresponsible with my money. Well, what's more responsible than investing in Manhattan real estate? Kevin wraps his arms around me from behind. That's my girl, making power moves. Congratulations, Ms. Thomas, the realtor says, collecting the papers. I'll get the paperwork ready. Kevin pulls me into a kiss. We need to celebrate. Champagne on our terrace. Our terrace, I repeat, letting the words sink in. I like the sound of that. This is real. This is happening. I've just bought a multi-million-dollar penthouse, and nobody can tell me I'm not capable of handling it. When should we start moving in? Kevin asks. Tonight, I reply without hesitation. I want to sleep here tonight. The realtor returns with a stack of papers. Everything's ready for your signature, Miss Thomas. I pick up the pen, my heart racing with excitement, when my phone buzzes. Lori's name flashes across the screen. Hey, what's up? I answer, trying to keep the impatience out of my voice. Nyla, we need to talk, Lori says, her tone urgent. Can you meet me at our spot? I'm actually in the middle of something important. Please, she cuts me off. It's about Jacob. My hand freezes over the paperwork. Kevin notices my hesitation and moves closer. I really can't right now. I'm signing for my new place and... Nyla, Lori's voice drops lower. Trust me, you want to hear this before you make any big decisions. Kevin touches my arm. Everything okay? I cover the phone. It's Lori. She wants to meet up right now. Go, he says, surprising me. I should review all this paperwork anyway before you sign. Make sure everything's in order. Are you sure? He smiles, taking the pen from my hand. I'm your lawyer, remember? Let me do my job. Go see your friend. Lori, I say into the phone, give me 20 minutes. Thank you, she breathes, sounding relieved. I grab my purse and give Kevin a quick kiss. You're sure you don't mind? The penthouse isn't going anywhere, he assures me, and neither am I. As I head for the elevator, I glance back at Kevin, discussing terms with the realtor. Something about Lori's tone has me unsettled, but I push the feeling aside. Whatever drama Jacob stirred up now, it can't possibly affect my new life, can it? Chapter 156. Nyla. I push through the door of Cafe Regular, the familiar bell chiming overhead. The scent of fresh coffee and pastries fills my nostrils, so different from the sterile marble halls of my soon-to-be penthouse. Lori waves from our usual corner table. Over here. This better be important, I say, sliding into the seat across from her. I was literally about to sign papers for my new place. Your new place? Lori's eyebrows shoot up. What new place? A penthouse on 57th Street. Kevin found it and... I stop mid-sentence as the cafe door opens again. My stomach drops when I see who walks in. Jacob. I whip around to face Lori, fury rising in my chest. You set me up! Nyla, please. Lori reaches for my hand, but I snatch it away. He really needs to talk to you. And you thought tricking me was the way to go about it? I grab my purse, ready to bolt. Some friend you are? Nyla, wait. Jacob's voice comes from behind me. Just give me 5 minutes. I trusted you, I hiss at Lori, ignoring Jacob completely. How could you do this to me? Because I care about you, Lori pleads. Both of you, just hear him out. I stand up so fast my chair scrapes against the floor. No, I'm done being manipulated by people who claim to care about me. Nyla. Both Lori and Jacob start. Save it. I push past Jacob, heading for the door. I have paperwork to sign for my new home, with Kevin. I sink back into my chair. Lori's hand on my shoulder. Fine, 5 minutes. I concede, my voice barely above a whisper. Lori squeezes my shoulder before gathering her things. I'll leave you two to talk. As she walks away, the silence between Jacob and me grows thick enough to choke on. He sits down across from me, his cologne bringing back memories I've tried so hard to suppress. You look good, he says softly. Don't. I wrap my hands around my coffee cup, needing something to ground me. Just say what you came to say. Jacob runs a hand through his hair, a nervous habit I used to find endearing. I owe you an explanation about Trixa. You mean why you're still with her after promising to end it? The bitterness in my voice surprises even me. It's complicated, he starts. There's history there, expectations from both our families. My mother. Your mother? I cut him off with a harsh laugh. Of course. Heaven forbid you disappoint Hilda Stone. That's not fair. He protests. There's more to it than that. Trixa and we have a connection. I care about her. But your heart belongs to me, I finish mockingly. Save the romance novel lines, Jacob. You had a choice to make and you made it. I should have fought harder, he admits. Should have made them understand how I feel about you. But now, he trails off, looking lost. Now you're getting married, I finish for him. And giving some weak explanation about family pressure and obligation instead of just admitting you're too scared to choose what you really want. His silence tells me everything I need to know. I grip my coffee cup tighter, the ceramic burning my palms. Do you know what it's like to sit there waiting? I changed my outfit 3 times. Ordered and canceled takeout twice because I wasn't sure when you'd show up. Jacob leans forward, his eyes pleading. I tried to reach you. Hours later, I cut him off. Hours after I'd already cried myself sick wondering what happened. Hours after I'd convinced myself you must have been in some terrible accident because surely you wouldn't just leave me hanging like that. You blocked my number, he protests weakly. After midnight, Jacob. After sitting alone in my apartment for 5 hours straight. My voice cracks. I watched every episode of Friends on Netflix waiting for you. The stupid pizza guy felt so bad for me he threw in free garlic knots. He reaches for my hand, but I pull back. You could have found a way. Email, Instagram, hell, send a carrier pigeon for all I care. You could have asked Lori to reach out. You could have shown up at my door. Nyla, please. No. I shake my head, fighting back tears. You want to know the worst part? I kept making excuses for you. Maybe traffic was bad. Maybe your phone died. Maybe there was an emergency at the hospital. I let out a bitter laugh. Turns out the only emergency was your conscience finally kicking in about Trixa. Jacob's face falls. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you got cold feet and couldn't even bother to tell me to my face. Something happened. Jacob's face looks pained. I can't tell you about it now, but someday you'll understand. I literally laugh in his face. Embarrassment spreads across his face. Good. He knows what a lame line that was. You know what really gets me? I lean forward, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. You had me believing we had something real. That night at the Le Bernardin, I actually thought you were different. Jacob shifts uncomfortably. Nyla, No, let me finish. My fingers grip the coffee cup so tight I'm afraid it might shatter. You promised me, Jacob. You looked me in the eye and promised you'd end things with Trixa. Instead, you're rushing to marry her. It's not that simple. It is that simple. Several heads turn at my outburst, but I'm past caring. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine. Kevin and I are moving in together. Jacob's face darkens. That guy's bad news, Nyla. You don't know him like I do. Oh, that's rich. I let out a bitter laugh. Jealous much? At least Kevin follows through on his promises. I'm not jealous, Jacob protests, but the muscle ticking in his jaw tells a different story. I'm concerned. There are things about him. Save it. I stand up, gathering my purse. You had your chance, Jacob, your last chance, and you blew it. Nyla, please, you're dead to me. The words come out cold and final. Have a nice life with Trixa. I see the pain flash across his face and feel a twisted satisfaction. Good. Let him hurt like I did.
Chapter 157. Trixa. I follow Hilda through the plaza's opulent grand ballroom, trying to focus on her rapid-fire plans for the wedding reception while fighting back a wave of nausea from this morning's chemo. The crystal chandeliers sparkle overhead, but their brilliance only intensifies my headache. We'll need to rearrange these tables, Hilda declares, gesturing with her perfectly manicured hands. I'm thinking a U-shaped configuration to seat at least 500 guests. 500? I massage my temples, the number making my head spin. That seems like a lot. Nonsense, darling. The Stones and Swans are New York royalty. Everyone who's anyone will be here. Hilda's voice echoes through the vast space. I've already called in favors to secure St. Patrick's Cathedral. Cardinal O'Malley owes me after that fundraising gala last spring. I sink into a nearby chair, overwhelmed by the grandeur of it all. Maybe we could do something smaller, more intimate? Hilda looks at me like I've suggested holding the reception at McDonald's. Smaller? My dear, this is the social event of the season. The Times will have a full spread. Women will be talking about this wedding for years. I just don't want it to be too much for my weakened body to handle. Too what? Hilda raises an eyebrow. This is your moment to truly become part of the Stone legacy. The plaza, St. Patrick's, it's all arranged. Now we just need to focus on the details. I'm thinking white roses everywhere cascading down from the ceiling. I nod weakly, watching her sweep through the room like a force of nature. The wedding she's planning sounds like something out of a fairy tale. If only she knew her future daughter-in-law might not make it to see next year's Christmas. Are you listening, Trixa? We need to discuss the guest list. The governor already called twice to confirm her table placement. The room spins as Hilda continues her grand plans. And for the place settings, I've sourced these exquisite Limoges chargers with gold leaf detailing. My stomach lurches. The familiar wave of nausea hits me like a freight train. Not now. Please, not now. The centerpieces will be white orchids floating in crystal bowls filled with... Hilda's voice fades in and out as I grip the edge of my chair. That sounds lovely, I manage to whisper, my mouth filling with saliva. The telltale sign that I'm about to be sick. Trixa, are you even paying attention? Hilda stops her pacing to stare at me. This is your wedding we're discussing. I try to stand, my legs shaking. The bathroom is just across the ballroom. If I can make it there... The flowers alone are costing a small fortune, Hilda continues, though money is no object for a stone swan union. The room tilts violently. Black spots dance in my vision. Just breathe. Hold it together. Perhaps we should consider... My words catch in my throat as bile rises. Consider what? Hilda turns, her expression shifting from annoyance to concern. Trixa, you've gone completely white. I open my mouth to respond, but instead of words, my breakfast makes an unexpected appearance all over the plaza's pristine marble floor. Oh my God! Hilda jumps back, her Louboutins narrowly avoiding the splash zone. Someone get help! Now! I collapse back into the chair, mortified, as hotel staff rush forward with towels. So much for keeping my condition under wraps. I'm so sorry, I mumble, wiping my mouth with a trembling hand. Must have been something I ate. The room tilts sideways as Hilda's voice becomes distant, like she's speaking underwater. My knees buckle, and I grab the edge of a nearby table, sending champagne flutes rattling. Hilda, I gasp, my vision blurring. I need you to call an ambulance. She stops mid-sentence about table arrangements, her perfectly lined eyes widening. What? Don't be dramatic, dear. Is it the lighting? I told them these new LED fixtures were ghastly. Please, I whisper, sliding to the floor. The cool marble offers little comfort as my stomach heaves. Memorial Sloan, Take me to Memorial Sloan. Nonsense, Hilda snaps, though I hear panic creeping into her voice. She fumbles with her phone, manicured nails clicking against the screen. Stone Medical Group is just minutes away. They have the finest... No, I try to protest, but another wave of dizziness hits. The chandeliers above multiply and swim together, a kaleidoscope of crystal and light. Not Stone. They can't... Jacob can't... 911? Yes, this is Hilda Stone. I'm at the Plaza Hotel with my future daughter-in-law. She's collapsed. Hilda's voice shifts to that authoritative tone she uses with service staff. Send an ambulance immediately. We'll need transport to Stone Medical Group. Hilda, please. I reach for her ankle, my fingers barely grazing her Louboutin heel. Memorial Sloan. They know my case. Shh, darling, everything will be fine. The Stone doctors are the best in Manhattan. She kneels beside me, careful not to wrinkle her Chanel suit. What do you mean, your case? But I can't answer. The room spins faster, darkness creeping in at the edges. The room spins as I lay on the cold marble floor of the Plaza's grand ballroom. Hilda's voice cuts through my fading consciousness, sharp and commanding. Get these photographers out of here immediately, she barks. And you, tell the staff this is a private matter. Anyone breathes a word of this to page 6, they'll never work in Manhattan again. I try to focus on her face hovering above me, but my vision blurs. The chandelier light fragments into 1,000 sparkling points, each one stabbing at my eyes. Security, clear the lobby. No one comes in or out until the ambulance arrives. Hilda's heels click rapidly across the marble as she paces. And someone call Bergdorf's. Cancel the dress fitting. Family emergency. My stomach heaves again, and I taste metal in my mouth. So much for keeping up appearances. Months of careful concealment, undone in an instant by my traitor body. Hilda, I whisper, my voice barely audible. I'm sorry. I tried to... She kneels beside me again, her perfectly coiffed hair falling forward. Save your strength, dear. The ambulance is coming. Tell Jacob. My fingers clutch weakly at her sleeve. Tell him I'm sorry. I wanted to be perfect. For him. What are you talking about? Hilda's brow furrows in confusion. You're not making sense, Trixa. The darkness creeps further in, and I can't fight it anymore. The last thing I hear is Hilda snapping at someone about NDAs and medical privacy laws as consciousness slips away.
Chapter 158, Kevin. I watch Nyla storm into our soon-to-be apartment, her eyes rimmed red. Something's off. She's been distant since returning from her lunch with Lori, which I'm betting wasn't just lunch at all. Hey, beautiful, I say, moving to embrace her. She stiffens but doesn't pull away. Rough day? I don't want to talk about it. She shrugs off her coat, letting it fall to the pristine hardwood floor. I move to the bar cart, selecting a bottle of Bordeaux I've been saving. Let me pour you something special. The cork releases with a satisfying pop. This pairs perfectly with horrible days. Kevin. She slumps onto our new Italian leather sofa. This is exactly why I wanted us to live together, I say, handing her the glass. So when you come home upset, you don't have to be alone. The wine's deep crimson catches the light as she takes a sip. I settle beside her, my hand finding her shoulder. Her muscles are tight with tension. You're carrying all your stress right here, I murmur, working my thumb into the knot. She lets out a small sigh. I know exactly what you need. Do you now? A hint of a smile plays at her lips. My fingers trace up her neck. First, this excellent wine. Then, I'm thinking dinner at Carbone. I managed to get us a table for tonight. After that, I lean in close, my breath tickling her ear. I have a few other ideas. She relaxes slightly into my touch. You don't have to do all that. I want to. I press a kiss to her temple. Let me take care of you, Nyla. That's what I'm here for. The tension in her shoulders begins to melt away as I continue my massage. Whatever, or whoever, upset her today, I'll make sure she forgets all about it. I've worked too hard to let Jacob Stone mess this up now. Come here, I say, holding out my hand. She stands, curiosity on her face. I guide her to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Let's talk about something better, like how amazing this view will look at sunset. She stares blankly at the skyline. Kevin, And here, I cut her off, pulling her toward the master suite. Imagine waking up to this every morning. The bathroom alone is bigger than your old apartment. A ghost of a smile plays at her lips. It is pretty incredible. You deserve incredible, I say, wrapping my arms around her from behind. You deserve everything, Nyla, and I'm going to give it to you. She leans back against my chest, but her mind seems elsewhere. Probably thinking about that bastard Jacob. I need to get her focused on our future, not dwelling on past mistakes. We could put a piano right there, I continue, pointing to an alcove. I know you always wanted to learn, and over here we'll have a wine cellar installed. Only the best vintages, of course. That sounds expensive, she murmurs. Money's no object. Not anymore. I turn her to face me. This is your world now, Nyla. Our world. No more scraping by. No more answering to anyone else. Just us. Living exactly how we want. She nods slowly, but I can see the shadows still lingering in her eyes. Whatever happened today has shaken her. But I'll fix that. I always do. Trust me, I whisper, kissing her forehead. I'm going to make all your dreams come true. I pull Nyla closer, inspiration striking. You know what we need? A proper housewarming party. Something to christen this place in style. Kevin, we haven't even closed on it yet, she protests, but I can see the spark of interest in her eyes. Details, details. I wave my hand dismissively. I know a guy, Tommy Winters. Best event planner in the city. He did Beyoncé's last birthday party. That sounds, she bites her lip, expensive. Let me worry about that. I guide her to the kitchen island, already envisioning the setup. We'll have stations here, caviar, sushi, champagne fountains, the works. Tommy can transform this place into a wonderland. I don't know. Nyla glances around uncertainly. Shouldn't we wait until we're actually moved in? Why wait? I pull out my phone, already texting Tommy. Life's too short to postpone celebration. Besides, it'll be the perfect way to announce our arrival to society. Society? She raises an eyebrow. Kevin, I'm just a nurse from Queens. Not anymore. I cup her face in my hands. You're Nyla Thomas, pharmaceutical heiress and my wife. It's time everyone knows it. Wait a minute. I haven't agreed to marry you, she reminds me. But she's smiling now. Yet? I wink. Trust me, after this party, you won't be able to resist. I'll handle everything. You won't have to lift a finger. Just show up looking gorgeous and let me show you off. Tommy texts back immediately. Available next week. Send details. Perfect, I show Nyla the message. See, it's meant to be. She shakes her head, but I can tell she's warming to the idea. You're impossible. Impossibly charming, I correct her, already planning how to make this party unforgettable. I watch as Nyla's resistance melts, her shoulders relaxing slightly. She traces her finger along the marble countertop, lost in thought. You know what? She says finally, looking up at me. Let's do it. The party, I mean. Yeah? I try to contain my excitement, keeping my voice casual. Yeah. She manages a small smile. I could use something to look forward to. And you're right. This place deserves a proper welcome. I pull her into my arms, breathing in her familiar scent. I promise you won't regret this. We'll make it a night to remember. Just... She pulls back, meeting my eyes. Nothing too over the top, okay? I cross my heart solemnly, though we both know I'm lying. Scout's honor. Were you even a scout? She laughs, the sound warming my chest. Details, details. I wave dismissively. The point is, I'm going to make this special for you. Because you deserve it. Nyla's eyes soften. Thank you, Kevin, for everything. for being here, for understanding. Hey. I cup her face in my hands. You don't need to thank me. I'm exactly where I want to be. She leans into my touch, and for a moment, I see the shadow of Jacob Stone lift from her eyes. It's not gone completely. I'm not naive enough to think that. But it's fading. And that's enough for now. So, she says, pulling away with renewed energy. Tell me more about this party planner of yours. He really did Beyoncé's birthday? I grin, already texting Tommy back. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Chapter 159. Nyla. I step into the transformed penthouse, my breath catching at the sheer spectacle before me. The space pulses with energy and excess, making my head spin. Rare orchids cascade from crystal vases, their delicate petals worth a small fortune. Holy hell, I whisper, running my fingers along a nearby bloom. Kevin really went all out. Only the best for you, darling, Anastasia purrs, appearing at my elbow with 2 flutes of champagne. This is your coming out party, after all. I accept the drink, watching a Cirque du Soleil acrobat twirl overhead on silk ribbons. It feels excessive. Nonsense, Anastasia scoffs, guiding me past a sushi station where Chef Takayama himself crafts delicate morsels. This is exactly what you deserve. Look around, everyone who matters is here. She's right. The room teems with Manhattan's elite, all sipping $1,000 whiskey and nibbling on gold leaf garnished appetizers. A far cry from my nights at the diner. Kevin's really trying to impress you, Anastasia continues, nodding toward where he holds court near the window. And everyone else. This party puts you firmly on the map. I take another sip of champagne, watching a waiter pass with caviar-topped blinis. The map of what exactly? Our world, darling. Anastasia's perfectly manicured hand squeezes my arm. No more scrubs or double shifts. This is where you belong now. Anastasia squeezes my arm and heads off. The room spins slightly, though I've barely touched my drink. Everything glitters almost painfully bright. The jewels, the crystal, the city lights beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. It's intoxicating and terrifying all at once. You look lost in thought, Kevin says, sliding up beside me. His hand finds the small of my back, warm and steady. Just taking it all in, I reply, gesturing at the acrobats twirling overhead. The flowers alone must have cost a fortune. He grins, clearly pleased by my observation. Nothing but the best for you. You deserve to be celebrated like this. A server passes with a tray of perfectly seared Wagyu bites. Kevin plucks 2, offering me one with a flourish that makes me laugh despite myself. Trying to fatten me up? I tease, accepting the morsel. Trying to show you what life with me is like, he corrects, his eyes intense. The beef melts on my tongue, rich and decadent. For a moment, I let myself imagine this really could be my life, parties and luxury, and never having to worry about bills again. The constant ache of Jacob's absence fades just slightly under the warmth of Kevin's attention and the sparkle of crystal chandeliers. Dance with me, Kevin says, pulling me toward the string quartet playing in the corner. I follow, letting him spin me across the polished floor. His cologne wraps around me, expensive and familiar. Maybe this is enough, I think. Maybe this is what moving on feels like. Thank you for all this, I murmur against his chest as we sway. It's incredible. You're incredible, he replies, and for just this moment, I let myself believe him. Through my champagne haze, I spot Lori entering the party, her eyes wide as she takes in the opulent scene. She's wearing a stunning white cocktail dress that makes her look like $1,000,000. Lori, I call out, stumbling slightly as I wave my wine glass. You made it. Nyla, Lori approaches cautiously, eyeing my unsteady movements. Are you okay? I'm amazing. I throw my arms around her, my wine sloshing dangerously. This party is amazing. Everything is amazing. Maybe you should slow down on the drinks, Lori suggests, steadying me. Don't be such a buzzkill. I giggle, attempting a twirl that goes horribly wrong. My wine glass tips, sending a cascade of red liquid down the front of Lori's dress. Oh my God, Lori gasps, looking down at the spreading stain. Nyla, this dress cost me 2 months' salary. I can't help but chuckle, the alcohol making everything seem hilarious. Red's your color anyway. This isn't funny, Lori snaps, dabbing at the stain with a cocktail napkin. I'm going to try to clean this in the bathroom. When she returns several minutes later, her face is tight with anger. It's ruined. The stain won't come out. Just buy another one, I wave dismissively, reaching for another glass of champagne from a passing waiter. Buy another one? Lori's voice rises in disbelief. We're not all living the high life now, Nyla. Some of us still have to work for what we have. That dress was a huge splurge for me. I take a long gulp of my champagne and take my black card out of my purse. Then let me buy you another one. Lori scoffs. That's not the point, Nyla. You can't just wave money around and not take responsibility for your actions. Lori grabs her coat to cover her stained dress. I should go anyway. Lori gives me a quick, emotionless hug and then starts to walk away. Lori, wait, I call out, my voice slurring as I stumble after her retreating form. The room spins slightly, making it hard to focus on her white dress, now stained crimson. Come on, it's just a dress. Just a dress? Lori whirls around, her eyes flashing. You know what? You're right, it is just a dress. But the Nyla I knew would have cared that she ruined something important to me. She would have apologized instead of throwing her money in my face. I didn't. I start, but she cuts me off. Save it. Enjoy your party, your new friends, your perfect life. Some of us still live in the real world. I lurch forward to follow her, but Kevin's hand clamps around my arm, pulling me back. Let her go, he says smoothly. She's clearly jealous of your success. No, I need to. I struggle against his grip, watching Lori disappear into the elevator. What you need is to have fun, Kevin insists, steering me back toward the party. Come on, the Valentino sisters just arrived. They're dying to meet you. But Lori clearly isn't in a party mood, Kevin finishes, pressing a fresh glass of champagne into my hand. Don't let her ruin your night. I look helplessly at the closed elevator doors, then down at the bubbling champagne. The music swells around us, the party continuing as if nothing happened, as if I didn't just lose my best friend. There's my girl, Kevin says, leading me back into the crowd. Smile, everyone's watching. I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyla.
This isn't just any fake marriage, now is it?
No, you introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl, Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand?
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyla. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage, happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Because where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less I Love You. Tuesdays and Thursdays. New seasons premiere every month. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylaWalker.com. Treat yourself with Miss Tyla. Chapter 1, 160. Nyla. The room spins as I stumble through the crowd, champagne sloshing over the rim of my glass. Everything feels surreal. The string quartet, the cirque performers, the endless flow of expensive alcohol. My new home. Our new home. Another toast, Kevin announces, appearing at my side with fresh flutes. To the most beautiful woman in New York, in her stunning new penthouse. The penthouse, I echo, my words slurring together. I can't believe it's real. Oh, it's real, all right. Kevin grins, pressing another glass into my hand. And it's all yours. Well, ours? I giggle, nearly losing my balance. Kevin's arm snakes around my waist, steadying me. Careful there, beautiful. We wouldn't want you falling before you sign the paperwork. Paperwork? The word feels heavy on my tongue. Just a formality, he says, steering me toward a sleek desk in the corner. Everything's ready to go. All we need is your signature. My vision blurs as I squint at the documents he spreads before me. The text swims on the page, but I catch glimpses of numbers. Lots of zeros. I don't know if I should. I start, but Kevin cuts me off with another glass of champagne. To our future, he insists, raising his glass. Don't you want this? Don't you deserve this? I drain the champagne in one gulp. I do deserve this. Then make it official. He presses a pen into my hand. Sign right here. My signature sprawls messily across the dotted line, the pen nearly slipping from my fingers. Kevin quickly shuffles the papers away, his smile gleaming in the chandelier light. Welcome home, baby, he whispers, kissing my temple. Let's celebrate properly. My head pounds as sunlight stabs through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Empty bottles and glasses litter every surface, and something sticky coats the floors. I groan, pulling a pillow over my face. The bedroom door crashes open. So this is how you're living now? I peek out from under the pillow. Kira stands in the doorway, her arms crossed, taking in the disaster zone that is my new penthouse. It was just a housewarming party, I mumble, my mouth tasting like death. A housewarming party? Kira's heels click across the floor as she approaches. I saw the photos, Nyla. You were dancing on tables, throwing money around like confetti. This isn't you. You don't know who I am. I sit up, immediately regretting the movement as my stomach lurches. You gave that right up when you gave me away. I'm here now, she says, her voice softening. And I'm worried about you. Everyone is. Everyone? I laugh bitterly. You mean Lori, the friend I apparently ruined a dress for? Or my parents who can't stop judging me? Kira picks up an empty champagne bottle. When's the last time you visited your grandfather? The question hits like a slap. That's not fair. No. You have all this money now, but what are you doing with it? Throwing wild parties and buying penthouses while the person who raised you lies in a hospital bed. Get out. I struggle to my feet. The room's spinning. You don't get to come in here and lecture me about family. Someone needs to, Kira says, standing her ground. Because right now, you're spiraling, and if you keep this up, you're going to lose everything, including yourself. My head throbs with each word Kira speaks, the hangover amplifying her lecture to unbearable levels. I sink onto the plush sofa, pressing my fingers to my temples. I'm so sick of everyone telling me what to do. I groan. First my parents, then Lori, now you. Maybe that's because we're right. Kira's voice cuts through my fog of self-pity. How many people need to warn you before you listen? I don't need this right now. I reach for a half-empty water bottle, my stomach churning. No, you need it exactly right now. Kira sits beside me, her perfume making my nausea worse. Look at yourself, Nyla. Really look. Is this who you want to be? What I want is for everyone to stop judging me. The water bottle crinkles in my grip. I finally have money. I'm finally free. Free? Kira scoffs. You're acting like a teenager with their first credit card. This isn't freedom. It's recklessness. I press my palms against my throbbing temples, trying to form coherent thoughts through the hangover fog. Kira's words pierce through my defenses like arrows, each one hitting its mark. You don't understand, I mumble, but the protest sounds weak even to my own ears. I'm just celebrating my success. Success? Kira's eyebrow arches. Is that what you call this? She gestures at the chaos around us. Empty bottles, scattered glasses, what looks suspiciously like caviar ground into the imported carpet. My stomach lurches as I take in the scene. It was just one party. One party that cost more than most people make in a year. Kira picks up a crumpled receipt, her eyes widening. Did you really spend $30,000 on champagne? The number hits me like a physical blow. I think of Grandpa in his hospital bed, of the medical bills I should be paying. Shame burns in my chest. I dot. My voice cracks. I didn't realize. That's exactly the problem. Kira's tone softens. You're not realizing anything right now. You're just reacting, spending, trying to prove something. I'm not, but I stop, the lie dying on my lips. Because she's right. Every extravagant purchase, every wild party, it's all been about proving I belong in this world. Proving I'm more than just a nurse from Queens. When's the last time you felt truly happy, Nyla? Kira asks quietly. Not drunk happy or spending money happy, but really genuinely content? The question lands like a punch to the gut. I think back to my days at the hospital, the satisfaction of helping patients, to quiet evenings reading to Grandpa, to laughing with Lori over coffee between shifts. I don't know, I whisper, and the admission breaks something inside me. Tears spill down my cheeks as the reality of what I've become crashes over me.
Chapter 1, 161. Jacob. I stare at the quarterly report spread across the boardroom table, but the numbers blur together. My phone sits next to my hand, screen up, taunting me with its silence. Every few seconds I glance down, checking for any updates from Dr. Freeman about Trixa's condition. Mr. Stone. Derek's voice cuts through my thoughts. Your thoughts on the Q3 projections? I blink, forcing myself to focus. The numbers look solid. We're tracking ahead of expectations. Actually, Harold chimes in, we're discussing Q4 staffing allocations. Right, of course. I shuffle through the papers, trying to get my bearings. The staffing plan seems... My phone vibrates and my heart stops. False alarm. Just another email. 3 floors below, Trixa lies in a hospital bed, her body ravaged by both cancer and the treatments meant to save her. The last time I saw her, she could barely lift her head. Jacob? My mother's voice carries a note of concern. Perhaps we should take a break? No, I say firmly, straightening in my chair. We need to finalize these decisions today. But as the discussion continues around me, my mind drifts back to Trixa. What about the nursing rotation schedules? Someone asks. I grip my pen tighter, willing myself to stay present. Let's defer to HR's recommendations on that. The meeting drags on, each minute an eternity. My phone remains stubbornly silent, offering no news about the woman I'm supposed to marry, the woman dying just a few floors beneath my feet. I think we've covered everything essential, Derek says finally. Unless there's anything else, Mr. Stone? No, I reply, already reaching for my phone. Meeting adjourned. The call comes while I'm walking out of the boardroom. Dr. Freeman's name flashing on my screen makes my heart skip. I excuse myself, practically running to the hallway. Mr. Stone, you need to come to the oncology ward immediately. Miss Swan's condition has deteriorated significantly. The elevator ride feels endless. When I reach Trixa's room, the sight of her hits me like a punch to the gut. Her skin is practically translucent, dark circles under her eyes making her look like a ghost of herself. The machines beeping around her bed create an ominous symphony. "Jacob," she whispers, her voice barely audible. "I didn't want you to see me like this." I take her hand, so fragile now, like bird bones wrapped in tissue paper. "Hey, none of that. You're going to be fine." Dr. Freeman clears his throat behind me. "Mr. Stone, may I speak with you privately?" In the hallway, he doesn't mince words. "The leukemia is advancing more rapidly than we anticipated, without a bone marrow transplant soon." He lets the sentence hang. "So find a donor," I snap, running my hand through my hair. "We have the best medical resources in the country." It's not that simple. Miss Swan has an extremely rare genetic marker. We've searched every registry, but there's no match. Her particular HLA type is... He consults his chart. 1 in several million. I look back through the window at Trixa. She's dozed off, her chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. "There has to be something we can do," I say, my voice cracking. "Money's no object. Whatever it takes." Dr. Freeman shakes his head. "Sometimes it's not about money, Mr. Stone. Without a matching donor, I'm afraid our options are extremely limited." I return to Trixa's bedside, sinking into the chair beside her. She stirs, her eyes fluttering open. "Stop looking so serious," she murmurs. "It doesn't suit you." "I'm just worried about your fashion choices," I try to joke. "This hospital gown is definitely not Vogue approved." She attempts a laugh that turns into a cough. When she catches her breath, she squeezes my hand weakly. "Jacob, if this doesn't work out..." "Don't," I cut her off. "We're not having that conversation." "I want to get tested," I say firmly, standing up from Trixa's bedside. "Right now." Dr. Freeman blinks in surprise. "Mr. Stone, the chances of you being a match are astronomically low." "I don't care about the odds," I cut him off. "Run the test." Trixa reaches for my hand, her grip weak but insistent. "Jacob, no. The extraction process, it's brutal. I can't ask you to..." "You're not asking, I'm telling." I squeeze her hand gently. "Besides, I don't feel much. Ask anyone on the board." "This isn't a joke," she protests, but I can see a flicker of hope in her eyes. "Look, if Marcus were here..." I start, then catch myself. The mention of her father makes Trixa's face crumple slightly. "Well, he's not, but I am. And I'm not going anywhere until they stick me with every needle in this hospital if that's what it takes." Dr. Freeman clears his throat. "We can begin preliminary testing immediately. Though I should warn you, Mr. Stone, given Miss Swan's rare genetic markers..." "Less talking, more testing," I interrupt, rolling up my sleeve. "And where do you need me?" Trixa lets out a weak laugh that turns into a cough. "Always so bossy." "Hey, I'm the CEO. Bossiness is in my job description." I lean down and kiss her forehead. "Just rest. Let me handle this." As Dr. Freeman leads me out to begin the testing process, I glance back at Trixa. She looks so small in that hospital bed, surrounded by beeping machines and IV lines. The sight steels my resolve. I'll be damned if I'm going to stand by and do nothing while she slips away. "All right, Doc," I say, following him down the sterile hallway. "Let's find out if I'm her miracle match."
Chapter 162. Nyla. I walk into the hospital, my head still pounding from last night's hangover. The familiar antiseptic smell hits differently now that I'm not employed here anymore. My heels click against the linoleum. as I make my way to the nurse's station, where I know Lori will be starting her shift. She's there, updating patient charts, and barely glances up when I approach. "Hey," I say softly. "Look who remembered where the hospital is," Lori mutters, still not meeting my eyes. I lean against the counter, fighting back nausea. I deserved that. I came to apologize about the party, the dress, my behavior, all of it. Which part exactly? Throwing your credit card at me like I'm some charity case, or laughing while expensive wine ruined my dress? She finally looks up, her eyes hard. Both. All of it. I've been awful. I run a hand through my hair. I don't even recognize myself anymore. Lori sets down her pen and crosses her arms. That makes two of us. The Nyla I know would never treat her friends like disposable accessories. You're right. My voice cracks. I got caught up in all this money and status, and I lost myself. You sure did. Lori sighs deeply. Look, I appreciate you coming here to apologize, but I'm not sure I can keep watching you self-destruct like this. It hurts too much. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe we need some space until you figure out who you want to be. She picks up her charts. Because this version of you, she's not someone I want to be friends with. Her words hit me like a physical blow. Lori, please. I have rounds, she says, already walking away. Take care of yourself, Nyla. I mean that. I turn away from the nurse's station, my eyes stinging with unshed tears, when I nearly collide with Jacob. He looks like hell. His usually perfect suit is rumpled, his hair disheveled, dark circles under his eyes. Jacob? I reach out instinctively, then catch myself. Are you okay? He runs a hand through his messy hair, making it worse. No, not really. What's wrong? The concern in my voice surprises even me, given our recent history. Jacob glances around the busy hallway, then pulls me into a quiet alcove. It's Trixa. She has leukemia. My breath catches. What? She needs a bone marrow transplant. We're running out of time to find a match. His voice cracks on the last word. Oh my God. I lean against the wall for support. How's the baby handling all this? Jacob's brow furrows in confusion. Baby. What baby? I thought, isn't that why you moved up the wedding? Because she's pregnant? He shakes his head slowly. No, Nyla. There's no baby. We moved up the wedding because... He swallows hard. Because we don't know how much time she has left. The weight of his words hits me like a physical blow. All this time I've been angry, hurt, assuming the worst about him and Trixa. And she's been fighting for her life. I'm so sorry, I whisper. I had no idea. No one did. She kept it secret for months, even from me. I stare at Jacob, the pieces finally clicking into place. That night, when you were supposed to come over after I broke up with Kevin, you found out then, didn't you? Jacob nods, his shoulders sagging. I found her medical file by accident. She was hiding at a hotel, trying to recover from chemo without me knowing. Why didn't you tell me? My voice cracks. All this time I thought, I wanted to, he says, running a hand through his hair. God, Nyla, you have no idea how much I wanted to explain, but I couldn't betray her confidence, not when she was already going through hell. I slide down the wall until I'm sitting on the floor, my legs unable to hold me up anymore. Jacob joins me, our shoulders barely touching. Trixa finally gave me permission to tell people. He continues, we need to find a bone marrow donor. The more people who know, the better our chances. Have you been tested? I ask, my nurse training kicking in. First thing I did, not a match. He lets out a shaky breath. Her tissue type is extremely rare, something called Swan syndrome. I turned to look at him, struck by the irony of the name. That's fitting. I listen intently as Jacob explains more about Trixa's condition. My medical background helps me understand the complexities he's describing. Swan syndrome is incredibly rare, Jacob says, his voice tight with worry. Only a handful of people in the world have it. That's actually how Trixa met Marcus. She was diagnosed as a child, and he was the only doctor studying the condition. Marcus Swan, I ask. The connection suddenly clicking. He discovered it? Jacob nods. Yeah. Trixa was one of his first patients. He ended up marrying her mom after working so closely with the family. He runs his hands through his hair again, a nervous habit I've noticed. The problem is, only someone with the genetic markers for Swan syndrome could possibly be a match for the bone marrow transplant. And those markers are extremely rare. I finish, understanding the gravity of the situation. Exactly. Marcus would have been a perfect match. He carried the gene himself, but... Jacob trails off, his voice heavy with frustration. But he's gone, I say softly. Gone when we need him most. Jacob leans his head back against the wall. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, except the needle might not even exist. The doctors say without a match soon. He can't finish the sentence. I place my hand over his, a gesture of comfort that feels both natural and dangerous, given our complicated history. There has to be someone out there with the markers. That's what we keep telling ourselves, Jacob says. But time isn't on our side. Yeah. He manages a weak smile. Look, I know I hurt you. I handled everything wrong, but I couldn't just abandon her when she needed me most. No, I whisper. You couldn't. All my anger, all my resentment of the past weeks dissolves in the face of this reality. I understand now. Chapter 1, 163. Nyla. I stand in the doorway of Trixa's hospital room, my heart pounding against my ribs. She looks so small in the bed, her usual glamour stripped away by illness. The steady beep of monitors fills the silence between us. Come to gloat? Trixa's voice is weak, but her spirit still shows through. No, I say, stepping inside. I came to see how you're doing. She lets out a dry laugh that turns into a cough. Since when do you care? I move closer, my nurse's instincts kicking in as I check her IV line and monitor readings. Maybe I always did, just didn't know how to show it. Right. She watches me with suspicious eyes. Because we've been such great friends. Looking at her now, pale and fragile, I see past our history of cattiness and competition. We share a father, even if she doesn't know it. Marcus Swan connects us in ways she can't imagine. You know, I say, adjusting her pillows, we're more alike than you think. How's that? She raises an eyebrow weakly. We're both fighters, both too stubborn to give up. I sit in the chair beside her bed. And we both love Jacob, even if we show it differently. Trixa studies me for a long moment. You're different, she says finally. Less angry? Maybe I needed perspective. I reach out and squeeze her hand gently. Look, I know we've had our issues, but you don't have to go through this alone. She doesn't pull away, and I take that as a small victory. I watch Trixa's hands fidget with her blanket, her perfectly manicured nails now chipped and dull. The sight stirs something in me, a familiar ache from my days as a nurse, seeing patients at their most vulnerable. Trixa clenches her teeth in pain. Your IV site looks irritated, I say, my professional instincts taking over. Want me to call someone to check it? Always the nurse. Trixa manages a weak smile. Even when you're supposed to be a wealthy heiress now. Old habits die hard. I adjust her pillow without thinking. Some things you can't unlearn. She watches me with curious eyes. Why are you being nice to me, after everything? I pause, considering her question. Because I've seen too many people face this alone. No one should have to. Even your worst enemy? Her attempt at humor falls flat, but I appreciate the effort. Are we really enemies, Trixa? I sit on the edge of her bed. Or just two women who got caught up in something bigger than ourselves? She looks away, blinking rapidly. I never wanted to hurt you, you know. With Jacob, I mean. It just happened. I know. And surprisingly, I do. Love's messy like that sometimes. God, listen to us. She laughs softly. Almost sound like friends. Maybe we could be, I say, surprising myself with how much I mean it. Stranger things have happened. A tear slips down her cheek. I'm scared, Nyla. Without hesitation, I take her hand. I know, but you're not alone. Not anymore. Trixa shifts in the hospital bed, her eyes searching mine. You've seen a lot of people, you know. She swallows hard. What's it like? At the end? I adjust her blanket, buying time to choose my words carefully. It's different for everyone. Some say they see a bright light. Others talk about feeling peaceful, like floating in warm water. Did anyone ever seem scared? Her voice trembles. Some were, but most found acceptance. I smooth a wrinkle from her sheet. They said it felt like going home after a long day. Trixa's fingers tighten around mine. I keep thinking about all the things I haven't done yet. Hey, I cut her off, squeezing her hand. You don't need to know any of this. You're not going anywhere. Who else is going to remind me that my shoes are last season and that CUNY isn't Harvard? A laugh bubbles up through her tears. Someone has to keep you humble. Exactly. I lean closer, my voice firm. So you have to fight this, Trixa. Promise me you'll fight. She wipes her eyes with her free hand. Okay? I mean it. I hold her gaze. Promise. I promise, she whispers. Looking at her now, all our past drama seems so petty. It shouldn't have taken cancer to make us see past our differences. But here we are. Better late than never, I suppose. Thank you, Trixa says softly, for being here. That's what friends are for. The word feels strange on my tongue, but right somehow. I'm learning I don't have many of those. Good ones at least, Trixa says with her eyes glistening. I pause at Trixa's bedside, watching her eyelids grow heavy with exhaustion. You should rest. She nods, already drifting off. I slip out quietly, closing the door behind me. As soon as it clicks shut, my legs give out, and I slide down the wall, landing hard on the cold linoleum floor. The facade I've been maintaining crumbles. What the hell have I been doing? Partying with Anastasia, throwing money around like it means nothing, hurting Lori, my best friend since forever. I've been so caught up in proving I belong in this wealthy world that I've lost sight of who I am. Seeing Trixa like this, stripped of all pretense and privilege, facing something money can't fix, it hits different. All our petty fights and competition seem ridiculous now. Life's too short for that. I press my palms against my eyes, fighting back tears. I've been such an idiot, throwing away real friendships for fake ones, acting like some caricature of a rich bitch instead of the nurse who actually gave a damn about people. Time to get yourself together, Nyla, I whisper to myself. The fluorescent lights hum overhead as I make a silent promise to do better, be better, starting now.
You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 164. Jacob. I shift uncomfortably in my chair at Le Bernardin, barely tasting the perfectly seared foie gras before me. Mom and Julia's attempts at light conversation feel forced, like we're all trying too hard to ignore the elephant in the room. The truffle sauce is divine, Mom says, delicately dabbing her lips. Don't you think, Jacob? I mumble noncommittally, pushing the food around my plate. Julia reaches across the table, squeezing my hand. You needed this break, Jake. You can't live at the hospital. My response dies in my throat as I spot them. Alexander, Anastasia, and Kevin huddled together at a corner table. My blood runs cold. What the hell are they doing here? And together? I casually slide lower in my seat, angling myself behind a large floral arrangement. Actually, can we move to that table by the window? The lighting's better. Mom raises an eyebrow. The lighting? Since when do you care about... Please, I cut her off, probably too sharply. I just need a change of scenery. Julia studies me carefully. Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, I insist, already signaling our waiter. Just feeling a draft from the door. As we relocate, I keep my back to their table, my mind racing. Alexander meeting with Kevin and Anastasia can't be coincidence. The criminal underboss, Nyla's sketchy boyfriend, and his mysterious friend. It's a combination that sets off every alarm bell in my head. Jacob! Mom's voice snaps me back. You haven't heard a word I've said. Sorry, just thinking about Trixa. I lie, forcing myself to focus on my family while keeping one ear tuned to any snippets of conversation from their table. Julia launches into a story about her latest interior design project, but I'm barely listening. The weight of secrets, Trixa's illness, Alexander's threats, and now this suspicious meeting threatens to crush me. I slip my phone under the tablecloth, angling it carefully between the crystal stemware. The camera makes a subtle click as I capture Alexander's animated conversation with Kevin and Anastasia. Julia's voice fades into background noise as I study the image. 3 people who should have no reason to know each other, let alone share an intimate dinner. Jacob, your lobster's getting cold, Mom says, her tone sharp with disapproval. Sorry, important hospital business, I murmur, tucking my phone away. The weight of it feels heavy in my pocket, like a loaded gun. Can't it wait? Julia asks, genuine concern in her voice. You've been so distracted lately. I force a smile, taking a deliberate bite of my now tepid lobster. Just following up on some new suppliers for the oncology wing. Mom's eyes narrow. Since when do you handle supplier contracts? Since we're restructuring the procurement process, I reply smoothly, the lie sliding off my tongue with practiced ease. Actually, I should show this to Trixa. She's been helping streamline our vendor relationships. The mention of Trixa shifts the conversation to safer ground, but my mind keeps drifting to that corner table. Alexander gestures emphatically, his usual composed demeanor replaced by something more urgent. Kevin leans in, nodding, while Anastasia's fingers drum against her wine glass. What game are they playing? And more importantly, how does it involve me? Or Nyla? I set down my napkin, the silk fabric barely disturbed. I should get back to Trixa, I say, already reaching for my wallet. She might need me. Jacob, Mom's voice carries that warning tone I know too well. You've barely touched your food. I'll have them box it up. I wave over our waiter, trying not to look too obviously at Alexander's table. The lobster will make a nice midnight snack at the hospital. Julia's hand catches my wrist. You're not fooling anyone, big brother. What's really going on? I meet her gaze, seeing the genuine concern there. For a moment, I considered telling them everything. About Alexander, the threats, the poison. But that would only put them in danger. Just hospital politics, I say, forcing a tired smile. Some supplier issues I need to handle personally. Jacob, Mom starts, but I'm already moving. I'll call you both tomorrow, I promise over my shoulder, careful to keep my face turned away from Alexander's table. Give my love to Dad. I hear Julia mutter something about me being impossible as I weave through the tables. The maitre d' appears with my coat, and I slip him an extra 100 to expedite my escape. Outside, the night air hits my face like a slap. I pull out my phone, studying the photo I snapped. What the hell are you up to, Alexander? And more importantly, what does it have to do with Nyla? I get back in my car, my mind already racing with possibilities. None of them good. Back to the hospital, Paul, I say, sliding into the leather back seat. My reflection in the rearview mirror looks like hell. Red eyes, stubble approaching mountain man territory. Sir, if I may... Paul hesitates, meeting my eyes in the mirror. You haven't slept since Tuesday. Your point? I loosen my tie, the silk feeling like a noose. My point is, you're no good to Miss Trixa if you collapse from exhaustion. I check my phone again, the photo of Alexander's clandestine meeting burning a hole in my brain. Can't sleep. Not yet. At least let me stop for coffee, Paul offers, already signaling toward the nearest Starbucks. No time. I rub my eyes, trying to force them to focus. Trixa's last round of chemo finished an hour ago. She'll be awake soon. Paul, I snap, then immediately regret it. Sorry, I saw something tonight. Something that doesn't add up. And if I'm right, Nyla could be in danger. Paul straightens in his seat, instantly alert. What kind of danger? The kind that involves Alexander. That shuts him up. Paul's one of the few people who knows about my arrangement with the crime family. He accelerates smoothly, weaving through traffic with renewed purpose. 20 minutes to the hospital, he says, all argument about sleep forgotten. Try to rest your eyes at least. I lean back, but sleep is impossible. The image of Alexander, Kevin, and Anastasia keeps replaying in my mind. What are they planning? And how do I warn Nyla without revealing everything else? The city lights blur past as Paul speeds toward the hospital. Toward Trixa. Toward Nyla. Toward answers I'm not sure I want to find.
Chapter 165, Trixa. I sit in the sterile hospital room, my hands trembling as Dr. Freeman reviews my latest test results. The chemotherapy has left me feeling hollow, but I maintain my perfect posture. A swan never slouches, even when dying. I fidget with my Cartier bracelet. The hospital gown feels scratchy against my skin. a far cry from my usual silk blouses. At least I managed to keep my jewelry on, a small victory in maintaining some semblance of dignity. Your white blood cell count is still concerning, Dr. Freeman says, adjusting his glasses. We may need to... A nurse bursts through the door, her face flushed with urgency. Dr. Freeman, you need to see this immediately. My heart plummets as he follows her out. I've watched enough Grey's Anatomy to know this can't be good. Probably found something horrible in my latest scan. Another tumor. Or maybe the cancer's spread to my brain. The minutes tick by like hours. I check my reflection in my compact mirror. The chemo has left me looking gaunt, but I've mastered the art of contouring to fake cheekbones. When Dr. Freeman returns, his expression is unreadable. Ms. Swan. Just tell me, I interrupt, gripping the edges of the examination table. Whatever it is, I can handle it. A smile breaks across his face. We found a match. The words don't register at first. A what? A bone marrow donor. Someone with your exact HLA type just registered in the system. It's a perfect match, which, given your rare genetic markers, is nothing short of miraculous. I press a hand to my mouth, tears threatening to ruin my carefully applied mascara. I'm sorry, what? I lean forward, certain I've misheard. After months of searching and declining health, this seems too good to be true. Could you repeat that? We found a match, he confirms, his smile growing wider. Right here at Stone Hospital, actually. The genetic markers align perfectly with your rare condition. My throat tightens. But how? The odds were astronomical. You said Swan syndrome is incredibly rare. It is, Doctor. Freeman nods, flipping through his charts, which makes this even more remarkable. The donor's tissue type matches yours exactly. It's quite literally 1 in a million. Here, at this hospital? I press my hand to my chest, feeling my heart race beneath my robe. Who is it? Unfortunately, I can't disclose that information without the donor's consent, Dr. Freeman explains, but they've already agreed to the procedure. I close my eyes, overwhelmed by emotion. After months of pretending to be strong, of hiding my illness from everyone except Jacob, this feels like a miracle. When can we do the transplant? I ask, already mentally rearranging my wedding plans. We'd like to begin preparations immediately, Dr. Freeman says. The sooner, the better. I nod, dabbing at my eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. A perfect match, right here at Stone Hospital. What are the odds? For the first time since my diagnosis, I allow myself to feel something dangerous. Hope. I collapse back against the hospital pillows, tears streaming down my face. Thank you, I choke out, clutching Dr. Freeman's hand. Thank you so much. The donor's genetic profile is remarkable, Dr. Freeman says, patting my hand. The markers for Swan syndrome align perfectly. I can't believe someone else has it, I whisper, wiping my eyes with the corner of my silk robe. Daddy always said it was the rarest of rare conditions. My nurse, Sarah, adjusts my IV drip with a gentle smile. Sometimes miracles happen right when we need them most, Mrs. Swan. We'll start the pre-transplant conditioning tomorrow, Dr. Freeman explains. The donor has already cleared their schedule. I nod, trying to maintain composure even as fresh tears spill down my cheeks. I'll have the team prepare all the necessary paperwork. Try to rest until then. As they leave, I press my hands to my face and allow myself to really cry. Not the delicate tears I show others, but deep, racking sobs of relief. After months of secret suffering and declining health, watching my body waste away while trying to maintain a brave face. Finally, there's hope. Thank you, I whisper to whoever this anonymous donor might be. Whoever you are, thank you for saving my life. I adjust my robe and press the call button for the nurse. Sarah appears within seconds, her sensible shoes squeaking against the polished floor. Could you find Jacob for me? I ask, smoothing my hair. He needs to hear this news. Of course, Ms. Swan. Sarah pauses at the door. Would you like me to have someone bring you anything while you wait? Tea, perhaps? No, just Jacob. I can't keep the smile from my face. For once, I'm actually excited to see him, not worried about hiding my symptoms or maintaining the facade of perfect health. I move to the window, watching the Manhattan skyline shimmer in the afternoon sun. The city looks different now, more vibrant, more alive. Or maybe that's just my renewed hope painting everything in brighter colors. I press my forehead against the cool glass, watching yellow cabs crawl through the streets below like tiny insects. Somewhere out there, my mysterious savior is going about their day, probably unaware of how they've changed my life. Could it be someone I know? I muse aloud, my breath fogging the window. The odds seem impossible. Swan syndrome is so rare that Daddy spent his entire career studying it. The genetic markers are like a fingerprint, unique to just a handful of people worldwide. Whoever this person is, they're willing to undergo a painful procedure to save a stranger's life. That kind of selflessness feels foreign in my world of calculated social climbing and strategic alliances. Thank you, I whisper again to the anonymous donor, my words disappearing into the vast cityscape before me. Whoever you are, whatever your reasons, thank you.
Chapter 166. Jacob. I spot Nyla coming out of Trixa's room, her eyes red, but her posture relaxed. She looks different somehow, more grounded than I've seen her in weeks. Hey, I say, keeping my voice low in the quiet hallway. How did it go? Nyla runs a hand through her hair, a small smile playing at her lips. Surprisingly well, actually. We had a real conversation for once. Yeah? I lean against the wall, studying her face. No hair-pulling or name-calling? She rolls her eyes. Very funny. No, it was nice. Different. I mean, I've spent so much time wanting to beat her, you know? But seeing her like this... She trails off, shaking her head. Thank you, I say softly. For coming. It means a lot. Well, I'm done being stupid. Nyla straightens her shoulders. All that partying, the revenge plotting, it wasn't me. I was surprised how easy it was to just talk to her. Like really talk. That's cold growth, I say, unable to hide my pride. It looks good on you. Yeah, well, she fidgets with her purse strap. Honestly, our conversation was kind of amazing. She's not who I thought she was. People rarely are, I reply, thinking of Alexander and his mysterious meeting. I shift my weight, debating whether to bring up what I saw. Speaking of surprises, I saw something interesting tonight. Nyla raises an eyebrow. Oh, your boyfriend was having dinner with Anastasia. I watch her face carefully. And a man named Alexander. Her brow furrows. Kevin? With Anastasia? That's weird. I mean, they know each other, but they seem pretty cozy. I pull out my phone, showing her the photo. And Alexander isn't exactly the kind of guy you want to be seen with. What do you mean? I lower my voice. Let's just say he has connections that would make your friend Anastasia's social circle look tame. Nyla leans in, studying the photo. Kevin never mentioned knowing him, are you sure? Trust me, I cut her off. Alexander isn't someone you forget meeting, and from what I saw, this wasn't their first time getting together. She hands back my phone, her expression troubled. Why are you telling me this? Because I care about you, I say simply. And something about that dinner felt off. The way they were huddled together, speaking in whispers. I run a hand through my hair. Just be careful around Kevin, okay? Jacob Stone, are you actually worried about me? A hint of her old teasing smile returns. Maybe. I match her tone. Or maybe I just don't trust a guy who has secret dinners with mob associates. Her eyes widen. Mob? Are you serious? As a heart attack. Look, I'm not trying to cause trouble, just watch your back. I shift uncomfortably under Nyla's scrutiny. Her eyes narrow as she processes what I've just told her about Alexander's mob connections. "How exactly do you know all this?" she asks, crossing her arms. "Since when are you an expert on organized crime?" I let out a dry laugh. "At my level, you learn to recognize certain patterns. Let's just say Alexander isn't subtle about his associations." "That's not an answer, Jacob." She steps closer, her voice dropping. "What aren't you telling me?" "Look," I say, running a hand through my hair. "The less you know about Alexander, the better. What concerns me is why Kevin and Anastasia are meeting with him in the first place." Nyla's brow furrows. "Maybe it's innocent. A business dinner or something." "Right, because mob associates regularly have casual business dinners at high-end restaurants." I can't keep the sarcasm from my voice. "Come on, Nyla. You're smarter than that." She bites her lip, clearly troubled. "Anastasia did mention knowing Kevin from before, through her father's social circle or something." "Her father?" This catches my attention. "Did she ever mention his name?" "No, actually." Nyla's eyes widen slightly. Now that I think about it, she's pretty vague about her family. Always changes the subject when it comes up. I lean against the wall, my mind racing. "And Kevin? Has he ever mentioned Alexander before?" "Never." She shakes her head. "But lately he's been pushing hard for us to buy this ridiculously expensive apartment. Like, really pushing." The pieces start falling into place, but I keep my expression neutral. Interesting timing. "What are you thinking?" Nyla asks, studying my face. "I'm thinking there's more to your new friends than meets the eye," I reply carefully. "And I'm wondering why they're so invested in your money." "Just be careful, okay?" I say, my hand instinctively reaching for her arm but stopping short. "No rash decisions, especially about that apartment." Nyla nods, adjusting her purse strap. "I hear you. And Jacob? Thanks for looking out for me, even after everything. Old habits die hard, I guess." I offer a half smile. She turns to leave, her heels clicking against the hospital floor, but I can't let her go just yet. The question burns in my throat. "Nyla, wait." My voice catches slightly. "I know you're not a doctor, but Trixa, what do you think? Is she—" I trail off, unable to finish the thought. Nyla pauses, turning back to face me. The fluorescent lights cast shadows under her eyes, but her expression softens. She studies me for a moment, and I see a flash of the nurse she used to be. Compassionate, intuitive, sure. "Your girl's a fighter, Stone." A genuine smile spreads across her face. I've seen enough patients to know when someone has that spark, that will to live. She takes a step closer, her voice gentle but firm. "Trixa's got it. In spades." Relief washes over me, my shoulders relaxing slightly. Coming from Nyla, it means more than any medical opinion. She's seen death up close, knows its warning signs. "Thanks," I manage, my throat tight. That helps." She nods once more, understanding in her eyes, before turning and walking away. I watch her go, grateful for this moment of honesty between us. This brief return to who we used to be.
Chapter 167. Trixa. I lay in the hospital bed, my designer silk pajamas that Jacob brought me, a small comfort against the harsh hospital sheets. The transplant is scheduled for tomorrow, but there's one detail driving me crazy. Who is this mystery donor that's going to save my life? I watch Nurse Wendy bustle around my room, checking my vitals. Something about her face tugs at my memory. Where have I seen her before? "Could you get me some ice chips?" I ask sweetly. As soon as she leaves, I press the call button. Another nurse, Brittany, appears. "Everything okay, Miss Swan?" Actually, I motion her closer, lowering my voice conspiratorially. I was wondering about Wendy. She seems familiar somehow. Brittany shifts her weight, smoothing her scrubs. Ms. Swan, you know I can't discuss other staff members. I let out a small laugh, adjusting my silk eye mask. Sweetie, do you know who I am? I basically owns this hospital. I thought that was the Stone family. Details. I wave my hand dismissively. Point is, I'm going to find out about Wendy one way or another. Wouldn't you rather be the one to tell me? Brittany glances at the door nervously. Ms. Swan. Call me Trixa. I pat the edge of my bed. Come sit. Tell me what you know about our mysterious Wendy. I really shouldn't... Look. I lean forward, my voice dropping to a whisper. I'm about to let some stranger's bone marrow into my body. Don't you think I deserve to know everything about the people taking care of me? Brittany's resolve wavers. I can see it in her eyes. Plus, I add, reaching for my Hermes bag, I happen to have an extra pair of Christian Louboutins in size. What are you, a 7? 6.5, she corrects automatically, then blushes. Perfect. I smile. Now, about Wendy. Brittany perches on the edge of my bed, looking over her shoulder. Well, she just started here recently, but there's something odd about her schedule. She only works when certain doctors are here. What doctor? I probably shouldn't say. I raise an eyebrow. They're red bottoms. Brittany's eyes light up with gossip potential. Oh, you might have seen her at Pastis. She's always there with Dr. Matthews. Dr. Matthews? I raise an eyebrow. Isn't he married? Brittany glances nervously at the door. To the chief of surgery's daughter, yes. But Wendy and him. She makes a meaningful face. How interesting, I purr, filing away this juicy information. And how long has this been going on? Months now. Everyone knows, but nobody talks about it because... She stops as footsteps approach. Wendy returns with my ice chips, giving Brittany a questioning look. Everything all right in here? Perfect, I smile, taking the cup. Brittany was just telling me what a dedicated nurse you are. Always going above and beyond, especially with certain doctors. Wendy's face pales slightly. I maintain eye contact, letting her know I know exactly what's going on. I'll need some information about my donor, I say casually. I'm sure you can help me with that. Wendy swallows hard. That's confidential, Ms. Swan. I could lose my job. I examine my manicure. I wonder what else could make someone lose their job around here. I lean forward in my hospital bed, my silk pajamas rustling against the sheets. Come now, Wendy. We both know how quickly rumors spread in a hospital, especially about inappropriate relationships. Her fingers twist nervously in her scrubs. Ms. Swan, please. I'd hate for Dr. Matthews' wife to hear about your little rendezvous at Pastis. I examine my cuticles with practiced indifference. Such a shame, really. Her father being chief of surgery and all. Wendy's face drains of color. She glances at the door, then back at me. It's Nyla Thomas, she blurts out. She's your donor. The words hit me like a slap. I maintain my composure, but inside my mind reels. Nyla? The same woman who's been fighting me for Jacob's attention? Who I've treated like garbage? Nyla Thomas, I repeat, tasting the name. Well, isn't that interesting? Please, Ms. Swan, Wendy wrings her hands. You can't tell anyone I told you. The confidentiality agreements. I cut her off with a wave. Your secret is safe with me, darling. My voice drops to ice. As long as mine stays safe with you. Wendy nods frantically and practically runs from the room. I sink back against my pillows, processing this revelation. Of all people, Nyla is the one saving my life. The irony would be delicious if it weren't so unsettling. I stare at the ceiling, my mind racing despite the exhaustion seeping into my bones. Nyla Thomas, my donor, my savior. The thought makes me want to laugh and scream at the same time. 1 in a million, I mutter, tracing patterns in the popcorn ceiling. What are the odds? The universe must be having a good laugh at my expense. Of all the people in the world who could match my rare genetic markers, it had to be her. The woman who's been a thorn in my side since day one. Her visit earlier plays on repeat in my mind. The way she walked in, all confident, yet somehow hesitant. How she actually seemed genuine when she wished me well. but I've been around long enough to know that nothing comes without strings attached. What's your angle, Nyla? I whisper to myself, pressing the morphine button for another dose. The pain medication floods my system, but it doesn't quiet my suspicions. I've seen her type before the good girl act, the caring nurse routine, but underneath all that compassion, there's always an agenda. There has to be. Nobody's that selfless, especially not in Manhattan. My phone buzzes with a text from Jacob. How are you feeling? I smile despite myself, typing back, better knowing you're thinking of me. But even as I send the message, doubt gnaws at me. Is this why Nyla's doing it? To play the hero? To prove something to Jacob? Ms. Swan? A night nurse pokes her head in. Need anything? Just answers, I mutter, but wave her away. I'm fine. The thing is, I'm not fine. Because either Nyla Thomas is genuinely this good of a person, which would make me the villain in this story, or she's playing some long game I haven't figured out yet. And I'm not sure which possibility terrifies me more.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 1, 168. Jacob. I glance up from the mountain of paperwork on my desk as Linda buzzes through on the intercom. Mr. Stone, there are 2 detectives here to see you. My stomach drops. Send them in. 2 men enter my office. One tall and lanky with salt and pepper hair, the other shorter with a neatly trimmed mustache. They flash their badges. I'm Detective Morrison, this is Detective Chen, the taller one says. We need to discuss some irregularities at your warehouse property on Kent Avenue. I keep my expression neutral. What kind of irregularities? We've received reports of suspicious activity, Chen says, pulling out a notepad. Large trucks coming and going at odd hours, unknown individuals accessing the building. It's a working warehouse, I say with a shrug. Deliveries happen around the clock. Morrison's eyes narrow. Our sources indicate possible illegal operations being run out of the space. Care to explain? I lease portions of the building to various tenants, I say carefully. I'm not involved in their day-to-day operations. Convenient arrangement, Chen remarks. Keeps your hands clean while collecting rent from whoever's actually using the space. I lean forward. Are you accusing me of something, Detective? Just following up on credible tips, Morrison says. We'll need access to inspect the premises. You'll have to contact my attorney, I reply smoothly. He handles all matters related to that property. The detectives exchange glances. We can get a warrant, Chen warns. Do what you need to do. I stand, indicating our conversation is over. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a hospital to run. Detective Morrison slides a photo across my desk. My blood turns to ice as I stare at the grainy image. The man's profile is unmistakable. The same aquiline nose, the distinctive way he holds his head. It can't be. Recognize him? Chen asks, studying my reaction. I force a laugh, though it sounds hollow even to my own ears. That's impossible. Marcus Swan died over a year ago. I was at his funeral. You sound pretty certain, Morrison notes. Because I am, I pushed the photo back toward him. I watched them lower his casket into the ground after his heart attack. This must be someone who looks similar. Interesting. Chen produces another photo, this one clearer. How about this gentleman? My stomach clenches at the sight of Alexander's face. He's emerging from my warehouse, dressed in his signature dark suit. I keep my expression carefully blank. Never seen him before, I say smoothly. Like I mentioned, I have multiple tenants. I don't monitor their comings and goings. Really? Morrison's tone drips with skepticism. Because we have footage of you meeting with him personally. You must be mistaken. I stand, straightening my tie. Now, unless you have concrete evidence of wrongdoing, this conversation is over. Direct any further questions to my attorney. We're not done here, Mr. Stone, Chen warns. Morrison stares at me. That first photo was taken 3 days ago, Mr. Stone. Pretty spry for a dead man, wouldn't you say? 3 days ago? I lean forward, my mind racing. The timestamp on the photo confirms it. Last Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. That's impossible. Morrison taps the photo. Security footage doesn't lie, Mr. Stone. Want to revise your statement? I stare at the image, studying every detail. The man has Marcus's distinctive gait, that slight forward tilt of his head. But Marcus is dead. I watch them lower his casket. If you're suggesting Marcus Swan is alive, you're mistaken, I say, keeping my voice steady. I attended his funeral personally. There was a death certificate, an autopsy report, all of which could be falsified, Chen cuts in, for the right price. My head spins with possibilities. Could Marcus have faked his death? And if so, why? What connection could he possibly have to Alexander? Look, I say, standing up. This is clearly some kind of misunderstanding. Marcus Swan died of a heart attack last year. Whatever you think you found, you're barking up the wrong tree. The wrong tree with some interesting branches, Morrison remarks. Like your warehouse tenant, Mr. Alexander. Care to explain that connection? I press the intercom. Linda, please contact Mr. Radcliffe and have him meet with these detectives regarding any questions about my property holdings. Running to your lawyer already? Chen smirks. Not running anywhere, I reply coolly. Just following proper procedures. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a hospital board meeting in 10 minutes. The detectives exchange glances before Morrison hands me his card. We'll be in touch, Mr. Stone. After they leave, I sink into my chair, staring at the business card. Marcus alive? Working with Alexander? None of it makes sense, but one thing's certain. I need answers, and fast. The photo of Marcus haunts me. It can't be real, but I saw it with my own eyes. Derek bursts in without knocking. What the hell was that about? Nothing, I say, loosening my tie. Just some routine questions about the warehouse. Routine? Derek scoffs, dropping into the chair across from me. Since when do detectives make routine visits to billionaire CEOs? I reach for my scotch decanter. Want one? It's 10 in the morning, Jacob. Your point? I pour myself 2 fingers. They're fishing, nothing to worry about. Derek leans forward, his voice dropping. Cut the crap. I've known you too long. What's really going on with that warehouse? Simple storage space, I say, taking a sip. We needed somewhere to keep excess equipment. In Brooklyn? Miles from any of our facilities? Derek's eyebrows shoot up. And what about that photo they showed you? You looked like you'd seen a ghost. I set my glass down harder than intended. Drop it, Derek. Jacob, I said drop it. My tone leaves no room for argument. The less you know, the better. Derek stands, shaking his head. Whatever you're mixed up in, just be careful. We can't afford any scandals right now. Trust me, I say, forcing a smile. Everything's under control. He pauses at the door. Is it? Because from where I'm standing, you look like a man drowning. I don't answer, just take another sip of scotch. Derek sighs and leaves, closing the door softly behind him. I maintain my composure until the door clicks shut. Then I sink into my chair, my mind racing. Marcus alive? It's impossible. Yet the evidence of my own eyes says otherwise.
Chapter 1, 169. Nyla. The hospital room feels different from this side of the bed. My body aches from the bone marrow extraction, every movement sending dull waves of pain through my hips. The TV drones on about some daytime soap opera I'm too tired to follow. A soft knock at the door pulls my attention away from the screen. My heart skips when I see Trixa standing there, looking frail but determined in her designer loungewear. "Hey," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can I come in?" I adjust myself against the pillows, wincing. Sure, though I'm not exactly great company right now. Trixa moves into the room slowly, settling into the chair beside my bed. Her eyes study me with an intensity that makes me uncomfortable. "I know it was you," she says. "You're my donor." My breath catches. I'd wanted to keep this private. "How did you find out?" "That's not important." She leans forward, wincing slightly. "What I want to know is why." We've never exactly been friends, Nyla. I shift against the pillows, buying time. Maybe I'm just a decent person. No. Trixa shakes her head. There's more to it. The doctors told me about Swan syndrome. Do you know how rare it is? The chances of finding a match were practically zero unless... She trails off, her eyes narrowing. Unless the donor also had the genetic markers for the syndrome. My heart pounds against my ribs. I hadn't expected her to know about the genetic connection. "How is it possible?" she asks, her voice trembling. "The only other person I've ever known with Swan syndrome was Marcus, and he..." She stops, realization dawning on her face. "Marcus, did you know him?" I grip the sheets tighter, the pain in my hips momentarily forgotten. "Trixa, it's complicated." "Uncomplicated," she demands, though her voice lacks its usual edge. "How do you have the same rare genetic condition as my stepfather?" The moment stretches between us, heavy with unspoken truths. I open my mouth to respond, but the weight of this revelation catches in my throat. I take a deep breath, steadying myself against the mounting pain, both physical and emotional. Marcus. He was my biological father. Trixa's face drains of color. What? I only found out recently myself. My birth mother showed me the DNA test results. My fingers fidget with the hospital blanket. He was my father, Trixa, which makes us, well, stepsisters. She slumps back in her chair, her hand trembling as she pushes her hair back. That's impossible. He would have told me. Would he? Marcus kept a lot of secrets. I meet her gaze. The Swan syndrome. The genetic markers. It all makes sense now. That's why I could be your donor. All this time, Trixa's voice cracks. When we were fighting over Jacob, over everything, we were actually family, I finish softly. Weird, right? I watch Trixa's face as she processes the bombshell I've just dropped. Her fingers twist the gold pendant around her neck, a gift from Marcus, I realize now. The same man who gave me the keys to a billion-dollar empire but never once acknowledged me as his daughter. The Neuramax formula, Trixa says finally, her voice barely above a whisper. That's why he left it to you. I guess so. I shift against the pillows, trying to find a position that doesn't make my hips scream. Though I'm still not sure why. I am. Trixa's laugh is hollow. He was punishing me, What do you mean? She meets my eyes and I see tears gathering at the corners. I was horrible to you, Nyla. The way I treated you when you were just trying to do your job. She shakes her head. Maybe he saw that. Maybe this was his way of making things right. Or maybe he just felt guilty. I offer. For not being there all those years. No. Trixa's voice hardens. Marcus never did anything without multiple reasons. Trust me, I knew him better than anyone. Or at least, she pauses, glancing at me. I thought I did. The silence stretches between us, filled with the steady beep of my heart monitor and the distant sounds of hospital life outside my door. I think about Marcus, about all the secrets he took to his grave. This is too much, Trixa mutters, pressing her fingers to her temples. I can't. I need time to process this. Take whatever time you need, I say softly, watching Trixa's face contort with emotion. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it myself. Trust me, I don't expect anything from you. Trixa stands abruptly, pacing the small hospital room. Her designer slippers make soft shuffling sounds against the linoleum floor. That bastard, she spits out. All those years, he never said a word, not one single word. It will be okay, I try to reassure her, though the pain medication makes my words feel thick on my tongue. We'll figure this out. She whirls around, her eyes blazing. Will we? Because I don't know how to process this, Nyla. I was his daughter. For 20 years, I was his daughter. Her voice cracks. He raised me, taught me everything I know. When my mom married him, he became my whole world. I shift uncomfortably in the bed, the dull ache in my hips a constant reminder of why we're having this conversation. Trixa. But you, she cuts me off, gesturing wildly. You're actually his. You have his blood running through your veins. The same genetic markers, the same. She trails off, her breath coming in short gasps. Everything I thought I knew about him, about myself, it's all different now. Having his blood doesn't make me more his daughter than you, I say gently. He chose you, Trixa. He raised you. But he left you everything, she whispers, sinking back into the chair. The formula, the legacy. Maybe he was trying to tell us something all along. I watch as a tear rolls down her cheek, and for the first time, I see past the polished exterior to the scared little girl beneath. I don't know what to do, she admits, her voice small. She stands abruptly, swaying slightly. I can't deal with this. With you being the one who saved me. Hey, I say softly. At least you have a life to deal with it. That's what matters. Trixa shakes her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. You don't understand. Every time I look in the mirror, every time I take a breath, I'll know it's because of you. The woman I treated like dirt is your sister, I finish. And sisters look out for each other, even when they're being bitches to each other. But she's already moving toward the door, her designer slippers shuffling against the floor. I need to go. I need time. I watch her leave, noting how her hand trembles as she pulls the door closed behind her. The room feels emptier without her presence, though I'm not sure why. Maybe because for the first time, I saw the real Trixa, not the polished society princess, but the scared woman underneath.
Hey, fam, I know what you're gonna say, that Nyla needs to cut these new friends out to keep from losing herself. Trust me, I know. Right now, she's like me when I discovered alcohol for the first time. But you know what? If we want Nyla to grow up to eventually stand on her own 2 feet, she's gonna need to learn from hard knocks. Let's just hope they aren't so hard that she falls down and never gets up. One thing is for sure, there's no way you can guess what's coming up. Find out on the next episode of Say Less I Love You.